Hey YA! Today we're in Nehemiah chapters 11 through 13 and Psalm 126, and this is the culmination of what we've been reading up to this point of God beginning to draw the nation of Judah back to Jerusalem, and we get to see the wall finished and dedicated to the Lord with a lot of rejoicing and a big celebration, and it's really awesome. And Nehemiah, who basically oversaw this whole project, gets to witness this. He gets to witness the people he loves start to being brought back here, and the wall finished, and this project that God had allowed him to undertake just being finished, and his people rejoicing over it. And how awesome to see that. And how great if Nehemiah ended there, but it doesn't. It goes to chapter 13, and what happens in chapter 13 after the Israelites had just dedicated this wall in this city again to the Lord and said they were going to follow his commands. What do? They backslide, right? They go right back into the sin they had been committing before. They don't apportion land to the Levites as they were commanded to do. They start intermarrying like they were commanded not to do. They break the Sabbath laws. They just, again, are unfaithful to what God has called them to do. And what I want to pull out of today's reading is how Nehemiah responds to this, because he could respond with such discouragement and despair and hopelessness that his people had done this again, but he doesn't. He says this throughout 13. He says 3 different times. He says, "Remember me for this, my God, and do not blot out what I have so faithfully done for the house of my God and its services." And then he says, "Remember me for this also, my God, and show mercy to me according to your great love." And then he says later, "Remember me with favor, my God." And these verses all follow instances of him going into Jerusalem and into the people and correcting them in the ways that they're going back into their sin. He has a position of authority here. So he goes in, he corrects behavior, and he says, "Remember me for this, my God. Remember me for this, my God." So how does Nehemiah respond? He responds by knowing he's doing this for God. His eyes are on God's will, despite the failure of the people. He's doing what he's been called to do, which in this instance, since he's in a position of authority, correcting this, getting them back on track, and he's doing this despite other people continuing to let him down, because he knows he's living in God's will for his life. And what ultimately matters to him is that God remembers him, even if other people are constantly failing. And guess what? God remembers him. He has a whole book of the Bible named after him. So I just encourage you today to be faithful in what God has called you to do, even if other people disappoint you, even if you're discouraged, even if you look around and it seems like everybody around you is just failing you. Because guess what? People are going to fail you. They'll fail you. But if you're doing what God's called you to do, he remembers you. And that is what's important. And ultimately, that is all that matters. And so tomorrow, Matt gets the last of the Old Testament, which is so exciting, Malachi 1 through 4. So tune in tomorrow. We'll see you then.